If you were going to buy any Porsche ever made ever, what would it be?
Any type of 911.
Exactly. Any type of 911, it doesn't matter, because you own not only a Porsche, the Porsche, a Ferrari, any Ferrari ever made.
What about it? Which one would I own?
Which one would you buy?
F40, of course.
An F40. Do you know why?
Because it's the last year the company had Enzo as the leader.
You know, I didn't know that,
Yeah.
but I knew I wanted an F40. Today on the Road Testing.
For lunch, the Porsche 944 Turbo generally prefers Ferraris, although it has been known occasionally to snack on Corvettes.
Ferrari, as a company, and before you say anything, I have to give a little bit of a history lesson so that you understand the company that exists today is different from the company that actually was founded in 1929. Enzo Ferrari. So in the 20s, he created a company that had the sole purpose of supporting drivers and only racing. They never produced production cars until the 1940s, actually 1947 to be exact, with the 125S. That was their first production car. Before that, the company only wanted to race. That was Enzo's only purpose for Ferrari Scuderia. Ferrari Scuderia does not mean Team Ferrari. In fact, it actually means the stable of Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari's actual collection of race cars.
Can I interrupt you now?
No, you can't. So in 1947, they built their first production car only because Enzo Ferrari needed money to help support his racing team.
Why does Ferrari exist today?
Today, it's different from back then.
I'm a Porsche guy.
I know.
You're either Porsche or Ferrari. Which one are you?
I'm a Porsche guy as well.
All right.
But I give a lot of credit to Ferrari as a brand. The company stands for something. It stands for something very important.
It stands for you're getting the hate mail this week.
I'll get the hate mail all anybody wants. But listen to this. Ferrari stands for a company that, as they did back in the 1920s, they stood for something. They stood for having a racing team that actually focused only on racing. Now, today,
well, what you're really saying is Porsche, and the things that I respect most about Porsche is that they are race bred.
Yes.
But in reality, Porsches, you know, they earn respect by racing the cars they sell.
Exactly.
And Ferrari, I'll give Ferrari credit that they actually sell the cars they race.
In 1988, though, Enzo Ferrari died, and with his death, the company went through a radical change. Fiat took a 90% stake in the company, and with it...
What happened is best answered by asking a question. If you were going to buy any Ferrari ever made, ever, what Ferrari are you buying?
F40.
Which was made?
Which was built in 1988, the last car Enzo worked on.
In fact, that is the car they should have called the Enzo.
He didn't know he was going to die.
And that's the car, if they're going to bring it back, anything into production again, that's the car they should bring back into production. That's what a Ferrari is. I'm not a Ferrari guy. That's a real Ferrari.
After his death in 1988, we saw plenty of road cars be produced by Ferrari, leading away from their traditional philosophy of only building race cars and only producing cars for the road that will support the racing teams. We saw the 355, the 360, the 430, the 575, the 599, the 612, all these production cars with not too much connection to racing other than, you know, a few challenge series.
And none of which were truly beautiful in the way the old Ferraris were.
Correct. Up until the past 3 years ago, when we've seen the introduction of actually quite a few new racing cars. And that's where we are today now. We've got the 599XX series. We've got the 430 GT series. There's always been a Ferrari challenge. But all of this is bringing Ferrari back to the essence of where they started.
You know, I'll be the first to say that as a Porsche guy, I'll look for any excuse to make fun of Ferrari. They're lawn mowers, they're coffee grinders, they're pasta makers, whatever. But I will give them props because I did my first research ever into Ferrari this morning when you woke me up. Everything about Porsche that I praised last week is probably truer for Ferrari. And, you know, even I was kind of, you know, proud of them for going back to their roots, because Ferrari is the only company that is closer in terms of production cars to like race cars than Porsche's. I mean, you could, if Porsche's road cars are race bred, Ferrari's race cars are race bred.
That's right.
And the road cars are, well, you can call them an afterthought, but they almost aren't an afterthought
That leads us to our original question of where should Ferrari go from here? And the answer to that is actually quite simple. Right now, they're actually in the best spot they need to be, and they shouldn't go anywhere.
And they should do exactly what they're doing. Because, I mean, the timeline of technology in Ferrari road cars is from track development to road availability in a showroom is the shortest of any manufacturer.
That's right. We're starting to see the hybrid system, KERS, that was in F1 last year, now being introduced into the 599.
You know, it's almost ironic. I can't believe I'm about to say this, something nice about Ferrari, but it's almost, you can almost say that in a way Ferrari is one of the greenest of manufacturers, because by virtue of having to save weight and improve performance and winning races, they probably know more in their labs than almost anyone else does anywhere.
That's true, but you want to know the funny thing about that is that they wouldn't do that unless the racing regulations told them they needed to do that. If F1 didn't say they needed to develop a kinetic energy recovery system, that system would never make it to production.
That's not true, and that's the same criticism that people who know nothing about racing make of racing. Physics dictates...
Call me a liar? Are you calling me a liar?
Look, people say I know nothing and I interrupt you a lot, but physics dictates that weight savings improves handling and speed.
But what I'm saying is that KERS would never have made it to a production car this year if it weren't for the F1 regulations.
I'm going to look for more holes in this in this Pro Ferrari day. Will Ferrari ever make a Signet like the Aston Martin Signet?
No.
Why not?
They rather boost the prices of their cars to get around the CAFE standards.
SUV?
Then actually, no, they will never produce an SUV.
A four-door of any kind?
These are questions for the audience, and we got to wrap it up.
I can't believe I knew so little, and that I like Ferrari now, but I'll never buy one.
No, they still represent a douchebag brand in the U.S., and I'm not saying that all Ferrari owners are douchebags.
I hope you get the hate mail this week.
Bring it.
Would you buy an F40?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Would I buy a 430? No.
No. No.
Then
Next
again,
week,
then again, I'm
Maserati.
broke.
Why? Although people want to hear about Hyundai, and you interrupted me.
Yeah.
Next week on the Road Testament, Hyundai. You don't need to ask why. Hyundai's a good brand.
Yeah.
Next week on the Road Testament.